Hello again. Welcome back to another video. I just got done with Dynamic Keymapping 2, um, which took about a month of work. Yeah, it took a while to get it done. I'm so tired. But I figured out something with this demo. To people who use NVIDIA, apparently the drivers are being evil as always. I don't know what's up with NVIDIA and OpenGL, but for some reason it just doesn't work. Want to do things that it should be doing. And I'm not using extensions, I'm using just standard OpenGL for like function calls, so I don't understand what's going on with that. This probably validates my reason to start looking into Direct3D 11 and start seriously trying to learn it. So I can have an application that runs on both NVIDIA cards and AMD cards. It works fine on AMD cards, so let's get this video started. As you can see, the source code has been released. If you want to look at the demo source code, it's in the source demo folder. It contains pretty much everything that this demo has. The engine folder just contains just the application and fun stuff. So let's start this application so I can show it off. Let's see here. As you can see, it's just a very basic scene. You press the tab button and it will exit this, and so you can look around. Very straightforward, simple little scene that I have set up. You can show the depth buffer for the shadow maps in the scene, and you might see this weird stochastic map. I'll talk about that in a minute and what that is for. You can select different meshes if you want to. You can enable no more mapping and disable it, and you can change the reflective style, which I'll show that in a minute after I start playing with the surface color. I'll show that in a minute as well, and you can update it, which updates the mesh. Pause it, take a look at it. Want to? You can caught that. You can change the skybox to something else. Like here's I guess this is a dusk scene early in the morning. Very cloudy scene. And if you click it again, it goes back to the original kind of midday sort of skybox. Alright, let's disable this. Let's get that close and personal with our cube friend here. And I'm going to switch it to a sphere. If you move this up, it changes the color of the cube map. And now it's just plain old red. And as you can see every object in the scene, so it is a dynamic cube map. Let's take this back down to 0. And green, it gives it a green little tint to the map. As you may have noticed, if you look at the ball at the sphere, you can see the shadow maps. That's because I'm simply grabbing the data from the shadow map and I'm just reusing it within the dynamic cube map, so which is awesome. And the blue one will turn up to blue. Alright, let's put all these up real quick just to make it a plain kind of see all the colors in the surface. Alright, let's see here. Well, Like I said before, you can switch to different meshes. A variety of different ones. I'm going to change the surface to refracting in a minute because I want to talk about this Casic map thing. If you change the skybox, this updates dynamically. And yeah, trying to think what I'm going to do next. Alright, let's just turn on pathing. Pathing basically allows you to move the object around the scene. And as you can see, it updates automatically. So if I can update, it'll go around the scene. If you watch it a little bit, it actually updates it where its position is. So that works very nicely. And you can, and to show this, I'll pause. No, I want to use path. Pause right there. And it updates according to the map correctly. So that fixes that. So let's disable pathing. And let's get to refracting. And we'll talk about the caustic map. Enable switch to refracting. As you may have noticed, the shadow changes a little bit. This is an attempt at caustics. What a caustic is basically light that either A, reflects from a surface and hits another surface, or B, light goes through a surface to the other end and produces a shadow. It's a kind of like a different type of shadow mapping. If we allow pathing, you can update. You see this more dynamically. Let's see here. I'm going to try to pause it on the cylinder down here just to demonstrate this. There we go. As you can see, it affects the scene just like a regular shadow map, but instead of it just being a dark shadow, it changes the color of an object when it passes through. Also with refracting, you can change its refractive index to something like this, which looks like water, or you can just go all the way up to 100 to 1.1, and it looks kind of like a glass ball, which is pretty cool. And the other refractive type is glass, which allows for reflection as well as refracting, so which is pretty cool. Let's head back, disable pathing, go back over here. Now for the other effects. The effects type because dynamic Cubemapping is a texture effect. You can do some interesting things with it. I have some example effects in here, which starts with black and white, which if you look at the scene through this kind of object, it makes the scene black and white, which is pretty cool. You get out of here. I'm gonna do this video. It's just one run because I'm tired and upset about the NVIDIA thing. So, if you click it again, it will go to a SEPA filter, which makes the scene kind of a brown color. It's a photographic filter. It looks pretty cool. You can also invert the scene, which looks pretty cool. You can do I think it's 3D blurs next. Yeah, do a 3D Gaussian blur to the scene, which makes it look. Oh, that was interesting. That was not intentional. I guess the keys got stuck. Got stuck. It might be due to the video software. So pause that. Actually, let's put on update so we can at least make the scene a little bit more dynamic. And for fun, I've added the pixelation effect as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Um, it's a pretty basic demo. The reason why it took so long is I haven't done this in a while, and I wanted to relearn a couple things like shadow mapping, doing normal mapping on a surface. Because if you see here, if you put on normal mapping, it changes the surface a bit, which is pretty cool. Let's go back to normal. The caustics are also affected by normal mapping. If you switch to, I don't know, this next one, you can see that it does correctly. How this effect is achieved in this is that I basically calculate not only the depth map, but I have to calculate two lighting maps for the back end and the front end. So to basically look at the surface correctly, because the light doesn't just pass through a transparent object, it also transfers the light photons through the back portion of the surface, so you have to account for that. This technique is not perfect. There's issues with it. Like, for example, if you go to, say, a much more complicated object like this, it's given me some interesting issues with the projection. Or our monkey friend here. But it's kind of cool seeing something other than a shadow being projected from an object dynamically. Also, another interesting thing with this effect is that it makes you can actually see the caustic through the surface, which is pretty cool. You can even see it through the front of the surface, which I don't know if that's realistic or not. I would have to look at a path trace scene. But yeah, this is Cubemapping version 2. It looks pretty cool. There's some. I'm just surprised that you can actually do this with rasterization somewhat. If I was doing path tracing, it would probably look much better because you can look at the scene much more globally with a path tracer. I'm still kind of upset about the whole NVIDIA thing, but this is kind of making me happy. Let's see here. Oh, the other reason why it took so long is that I had to rewrite all these UE components, and that took like 2 weeks. UEs are evil. I think this is it for this video. For the NVIDIA, for the users who use NVIDIA, I'm sorry. I have no clue how to fix the NVIDIA issues. Hopefully it's probably the NVIDIA card I tested on was a 66 Ti, so it could have a limited number of like frame buffers or something. So it might work on with a newer version. So if you have an NVIDIA card, please run a test. Please send me some feedback because I'm kind of curious to see if it will work on like a NRX like 1080 or 2080, something on one of the newer, if it works on the newer cards. It could just be the fact that it's an old card. I am running the latest drivers on it, so I don't know. Or it could be maybe Nvidia is trying to push Microsoft stuff or something, which validates my reason to take a look at DirectVidia 11. Dang it, Nvidia, you did me dirty again. Oh well, at least I know about it compared to the conundrum I had with the ray tracer demo a few months back. Well, I believe this is it. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time in another video.